What was once fringe is now mainstream. Jamaat Char Munai, a firebrand Islamist group rooted in Islami Andolan Bangladesh, is openly vowing to remake Bangladesh in the image of Taliban-ruled Afghanistan. Their leader, Mufti Muhammad Faizal Kareem, isn't being subtle. In a July 2025 interview, he promised Sharia rule, purging secularism, and even claimed Hindus would have rights as long as they obey Islamic law. This isn't politics. It's a creeping clerical coup. It started with Sheikh Hasina's downfall, caused by the slow burn of public frustration that finally exploded into fire. The quota system, seen as a vehicle for nepotism and state favoritism, triggered protests across campuses. The movement gained momentum under the banner Students Against Discrimination. When bodies began to pile up during clashes with security forces, the illusion of control collapsed. Hasina's own family pleaded with her to leave. She did, by air to India. The chaos that followed her resignation was more than political. It was ideological. The military-backed interim government, led by Muhammad Yunus, stepped into the vacuum with neither legitimacy nor control. Amid the smoke and rubble, Jamaat Char Munai, an ultra-conservative group with roots in Islami Andolan Bangladesh, swooped in like vultures on a carcass. They didn't hide their agenda, turn Bangladesh into Afghanistan 2.0, theocratic rule, Sharia law, civil liberties tossed in the bin. Mufti Muhammad Faizal Kareem, the leader of Jamaat Char Munai, dropped his bombshell in a July 2025 interview. Bangladesh should adopt the current governance system of Afghanistan. Translation: Taliban rule. Every word was a warning shot aimed at minorities, women, and secular citizens. Kareem proposed rights for Hindus, but only under Sharia law. That's like offering a cage and calling it shelter. His version of rights: dhimmi status. Protection, yes. Equality, absolutely not.
The cronies of Yunus, they're publicly saying that they want to turn Bangladesh into another Afghanistan. And Yunus, although despite his previous affiliations with the LGBTQ movement, etc., but Yunus is he is a mercenary of the foreign forces. He is serving the purpose of his employers, and at the same time, he, along with these Islamists and jihadis, they are not only pushing Bangladesh towards the dark era of a caliphate, at the same time, they are looting the country. For your kind information, during the last 10.5 months, there is not a single dollar foreign investment in Bangladesh, but almost $9 billion were smuggled out of this country. 80,000 crore taka has been looted from the Bangladeshi stock market. It's not an allegation, it's an information. And if you see Bangladeshi media, you will see that most of the advisors of the Yunus regime, there are allegations of their corruption. Every day there is a report in the local media or international media. But it means they're very much involved in rampant loot and corruption. Actually, this happened also in Afghanistan and other countries, wherever there is a kind of the Islamist regime or caliphate. It also happens in Pakistan. So I think Bangladesh, unfortunately, is heading towards the fate of Pakistan, where we may soon become a beggar nation.
The Jamaat Char Munai ideology is a deadly cocktail: rural religiosity, anti-West rhetoric, and a hatred for secularism. They talk about taking good things from the US and UK, but only if those things bow before their version of Islam. Civil codes replaced, women's rights rewritten, minority protections reduced to mercy clauses. It's a system designed to dominate, not coexist. And right now, they're not just shouting from the sidelines, they're inching toward power. Since Hasina's exit, Bangladesh has turned into a war zone for its minorities. According to the Bangladesh Hindu Buddhist Christianity Unity Council, in a 16-day period between 4th August and the 20th of August 2024, a total of 2,010 incidents of attacks on minorities took place. Hindu temples have been torched, businesses looted, women raped, children assaulted. The attackers? Radicalized mobs emboldened by a collapsing state and a rising theocracy. The victims? Mostly Hindus, many tied to the fallen Awami League, others guilty of just existing as non-Muslims. The interim regime under Muhammad Yunus has done next to nothing to stop the carnage. Critics call it brutal anarchy. The Awami League calls it state complicity. Whatever you call it, the facts are terrifying. Let's be clear, when Jamaat Char Munai talks about Sharia, they're not referring to some benign cultural code.
First of all, you are aware that in Bangladesh, the so-called vote bank of these Islamist parties is only 5%. 95% belong to Awami League, BNP and other rightist and leftist political forces, but not jihadist or Islamic. Islamists altogether, they have only 5%. 95% are the people like me and us. So I think we are worried. We are definitely very much worried. And also, you are a journalist. I want to share with you something that there are cases against 266 journalists until today by this Yunus regime. And out of these 266, 250 they are facing murder cases. So it's a culture of absolute fear, atmosphere of
and persecution.
Fear. Yes, absolute fear. And Yunus is continuously branding everyone, every journalist who is telling the truth as disinformation peddler or fake news peddler, whatever. He is seeking help from Facebook and United Nations to fight disinformation. So, as I said, the only way out is actions by our armed forces as soon as possible, because we should not expect anything from the so-called international community. And as to India, we know that India is not going to interfere or intervene into any country's domestic affairs. It will not. But India is looking for a good neighborship with everyone, with including Bangladesh. But unfortunately for India, it is impossible to accommodate Yunus regime because it is filled with anti-India agenda. So I can only tell you that by August this year, I mean by next month, either Yunus remains in power eternally by declaring his government as a revolutionary government, or Bangladesh is liberated from the evil clutches of these jihadis and Islamic and foreign mercenaries. Now we have to wait and see if the Army Chief General Wakar and other senior members, officials of our armed forces, they have the courage to show their patriotism to this nation, commitment to this nation, or they are also going to somehow surrender to the red eyes of these foreign mercenaries.
They're talking about the Taliban brand of governance. That means amputation for theft, flogging for dissent, and public executions for moral crimes. For women, it means disappearing from public life. For minorities, it means living under legal apartheid, paying the jizya tax, being banned from certain jobs, losing the right to testify against Muslims. Faizal Kareem's claim that minorities will have rights under this system is smoke and mirrors. These aren't rights, they're limitations wrapped in religious sugar. No equality before the law, no freedom of religion, no cultural autonomy. Your existence is tolerated, not respected. Your voice muffled, not heard. Your faith controlled, not free.